Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Spinner Rack. We have Cal, we have Petey, and of course you have me here, Big Business. Today we're going to talk about one of the biggest hits out there right now, Stranger Things. Word of mouth about this all over the net is hot. You know, whether you like it, we don't know, but we're going to talk about it and tell you what it is. Cal, what do you think about this episode of Stranger Things? You know, just from your initial view of the poster, give us a heads
just
up.
what you see right now, give us your opinion.
You people are funny. Well, what I kept hearing about it that made me interested in wanting to see it was the comparison between this and Richard Donner's film The Goonies, which I really, really enjoyed. I thought that was one of the, you know what? I thought the 80s were very good, if you look at the terms of films that they rolled out, where they could be a little bit more idiosyncratic. You couldn't imagine a film like The Goonies being made today, or even 10 years ago, or even the 90s. But at that time period, there was enough pliability in terms of filmmaking where it's like, okay, let's put this up. Richard Donner had the pedigree in terms of his filmmaking. Let's see how it goes. So with this, I was very interested in seeing how this would go, to see if it would be along the same lines. And since the directive is around, you know, a kid, where the kid's going to be the focal point, you know, which allows you to revisit some of those same feelings without tapping into cheap pandering for nostalgia, you know, to really tap into, you know, seeing the world through the eyes of a kid, experiencing those adventures when everything is laying right before you. So I was really interested in seeing it.
But nostalgia is one of the biggest selling points of the show.
Again, without pandering, there's a difference. Nostalgia happens, but there's a difference between your pandering on it. Big difference.
Well, wait,
it's like the political pandering we got from, well, you know, you're a Republican. You know what I'm talking about.
No, wait a second. You're saying that this is pandering, or in general when people?
No. There's a
Nostalgia.
difference between being nostalgic, and there's a difference between people are pandering nostalgia to you because they're trying to get you to open up your pocket.
So like you have like a new Coke instead of just having, you know, just
Well, they
having
have
Coke.
Crystal Pepsi back in the stores right now.
Okay.
Okay, and you can easily say, hey, remember this? Like somebody, oh yeah, let me come over here. But the bottom line is, you're not being nostalgic because you remember the feeling. You know, it's somebody pushing this so they can get, you know, your purse strings open, and then you're thinking somehow when you drink this, you're going to remember that feeling. It's not organic.
I can see
This
the
show?
point.
No, how do you
I
think
was
this? I'm
I was
talking
saying
about Crystal Pepsi.
I'm just saying. I'm just making sure. I just want to make sure.
So what do you think? What do you think, P-Money?
I'll say this again, just so the audience isn't confused. My boys aren't up to speed. I thought this was good along the lines of, again,
Okay, that's what I thought you were saying.
revisiting. Okay, revisiting those feelings without pandering.
Okay.
Okay, I'm totally against pandering, but if it's organic, fine. And I thought this came across as very organic.
I would tie into what Cal just said, is when I saw Super 8, which is a lot of similarities between this and Super 8, in just the setting of looking at the poster and the kids, I was like, that's what felt like he's trying to be Spielberg, but he's not getting the 80s. And then watching this, all of my friends at work were like, oh, you gotta, you know, they weren't saying, it was like a secret club. Oh, I saw this, and it was like, if you hadn't seen it, they weren't really going to talk to you about it.
Yes,
So
that's true.
then,
That's
you know,
true.
Yeah,
like-
I know the feeling.
So I'm like, so I decided, let me sit down and watch it. And I watched like the first one, and they had there's a bunch of actors that I didn't know. There's two that had been famous, but not as famous now. So it was like, it was interesting to see that they had this ensemble, but they're not playing to any one character. They have one where we think we're going to be with this younger character, and then something happens, and then we get introduced to new characters as it goes along. So then we also have, it's a horror story. We can say it's a horror story. And when I was watching it, this is one thing that I have a problem with horror, is that you never really care about the people getting killed, and that's what a lot of the 80s horror was like. Let's just kill more, make them more annoying, and then kill them. But the difference is doing real horror, what you can see in, say, like parts of Jaws or even Alien. When you care about the characters, you fear for them, you worry about them more, and it's more. So in this thing, they don't show you the monster that much. So they also have to have an interesting story, which they do, and that's what I liked about it. It had an interesting story. You're following the story weaving around. And then you know, don't always look and, well, I need to see the monster. It's like, you don't need this because you're watching this story and it's very interesting. And you care about the characters when the monster comes. So it's like, oh man. And they don't play to simple relationships. They're not, doing everything that's simple. There's a relationship with the younger girl and the new love interest and her old love interest. There's just this triangle that doesn't work out as you think it would. So I enjoyed it.
You think it's similar to the acting that you saw like in It or in Super? One of the things I liked in Super 8, there was one scene, okay, where the girl is supposed to be acting, you know, she's just reading the line, but it comes across so genuine, the boy just totally falls in love with her.
Yeah.
Okay, and then she cuts right back. She's like, do you think that was good? He's like,
yeah,
oh yeah.
That was a good scene.
He's like, totally smitten, but then of course the acting that we had, I don't know if you saw It.
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, you never saw It? Oh, well, there's that.
Well, no, what's something spoil in there or no?
Well, no, it's another It. Not Steven Spielberg, but Stephen King's It, where these kids are being tormented by this alien, but it's in the form of a clown, and it plays on that. You know, some kids are just terrified of clowns for whatever reason. You know, of course, because of the garish makeup and such, but they're still child actors. Okay, but they're going. It's not exactly the same as this. Okay, there's definitely a wide enough gulf between it, but the quality of the acting from the kids is very, very good. Okay, and it was something I thought maybe you might make a connection here with, but you haven't seen it.
No, I think I was probably too scared, and I said I'm not doing this one. I don't think I ever revisited it.
So no, my mom was like, "Hey, watch this." Now go to sleep.
So my take on this, and there's going to be spoilers. I don't know why we didn't give any spoilers.
Well, I started where
we're going to blow it up.
No, don't spoil it.
Yeah, we're going to spoil it.
Not everybody's seen it.
Well,
don't
then
spoil it.
That's not on my case.
No, we're saying you can review without spoiling.
Why?
Why not?
Because it's a club. Just said it's a club of people.
Yeah, now people, if you spoil it, they don't have to go and join the club. It's like free entry.
That's okay. They're out of it.
That's like getting into you know
Don't
club.
make me edit out your parts in this.
Oh,
keep it clean.
Yes.
Threats again, huh?
That's my first threat. That's my first threat.
Oh, we've had a couple of other threats. Listen, so this show, I gotta say, there was a lot of talk, a lot of chatter about it all over the place. And no one wanted to tell me what was actually going on with the show. So I said, let me take a look at it. I took a look at it with some close personal family members of mine. And I gotta say, it kept me intrigued throughout the full 8 episodes. It wasn't exactly what I expected. They changed the classic tropes that you got in the 80s about the loose girl who gets around and something bad happens to them, or the douchebag dude who becomes a hero at the end. It changed a lot of different things but not huge. The great thing about this film is you had that whole nostalgia. It reminds you really of what an 80 film should be. Something that Super 8 never did. Yeah, I never got that thing. Super 8 felt more they were pushing it on you, as opposed to this. It's just like, wow, they have the feel, they have the look, they have the lighting, they have the cover art. I thought that was very, very impressive from these guys. They're called the Duffer Brothers. I've never heard of them before. But I thought the fact that they were able to get this together, and actually you could tell it wasn't a huge budget, 8 episodes, a very solid story. Wasn't exactly, I wouldn't give it like some of the 5 stars that some people are giving it and stuff like that, but it was a decent story. It was enjoyable, and it kept me connected for a while. And most importantly, it gave me that nostalgia for looking back, because it hit all the right notes, from lighting, the coloring, the clothing. Of course, there was no major pandering according to Cal, but it definitely worked on many
obviously,
levels.
it pandered to somebody, not me though.
But I mean, overall, I was a little disappointed though with the whole monster. I wasn't.
Excuse me, sorry.
Am I gonna have to cut that one out?
Wasn't libertarian enough for you? Okay. Don't worry.
Do we have to cut that one out?
That's right.
No, just keep going. I just saw you want that cut out? It's cut out.
I didn't say I wanted to cut it. I just said, is it going to be cut out?
You're killing the show, man.
No, you said you didn't like the monster. That's fine. It wasn't. You didn't describe the monster.
Right, I didn't describe
so
it.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay,
keep
cool.
going.
Okay, I just heard
that.
that.
You don't have to. Come on. You're not afraid of me.
This is like live dead air.
Okay, cut that out. Right, so another thing I liked about it, though, but a very important thing that I liked is that you had one of the adult characters, the sheriff, and I thought he was critical to the show. And the way he went about it, how he brought all the different strands together in this whole story. To me, though, and I know people are going to hate this, Winona Ryder, I don't know,
Can't agree.
After a couple of, after 8 episodes, let's say 6 episodes of the character, I was having some problems.
No.
Yeah, so I mean,
I love Winona Ryder.
I did not, so I'm sorry. I thought it just went on a little too long. As far as I'm concerned.
Go ahead, Pete.
I'm only say that Winona, being possibly the biggest star in there, she didn't come in there with her, battle axe and say, "This is my scene. I need this. My character needs to do this. I need to knock out the monster. I need to choke the monster." And she played this character's mother through the entire time and went through the emotional highs and lows of the struggle of this character that's going through. So I enjoyed it, and she didn't break from it. It didn't seem like I'm a star. I need some better scenes.
I got that, but I mean, my thing is just that the way her character was played throughout, or at least the first 9/10 of the character, is just, how long could you keep doing that without trying to change? I probably, I haven't been in her situation, the character situation, but I just after a while it started grating on me,
What you wanted her to? I mean, let's get into more of it, but.
Sounds like you wanted her to die.
Yeah, it does.
No, I wanted her to snap out a little bit of it. Try to get something a little bit more concrete going forward. But, she got it at the end, and I thought that they could have played a little bit more instead of, it was several episodes. But it is natural what she was going through. I personally I just thought it just kept on going. It just went on a little too long for me.
Okay.
But I love the kids in the show. I think they did a great job. I like I like the Wheeler family. I like the Wheeler family with, what is it, Mike, his sister, the mother and the father, the whole dynamic with them.
The father they really went too far of a detached, was it a middle of the road guy?
Middle
where he
class.
doesn't have any, no, what I mean is someone that doesn't really make any decisions.
Right.
Sort of gives you an opinion. But I like the teacher. Like having that teacher that would listen to whatever those kids said and help them no matter what. And they would say, "Hey, what about
that's an '80s teacher.
That's
a Wonder Years teacher."
Exactly. It was a real, that aspect of the character was really enjoyable.
But the father was enjoyable in that he was a typical
comical.
'80s father.
Comical without being comical. He was just like.
One thing you said I did want to, was Super 8 designed to be like an '80s type story? Was it designed to do that?
I
never
thought
got that.
I got that feel that it was supposed to be something like that.
Like a polter, well, not necessarily polter, but like E.T. They were trying to get to E.T.
Yeah, it just didn't.
You can't do E.T. again. I mean, that's just a halcyon. That's just a halcyon type of thing. You're just not going to get that
talk
again.
about E.T., man. Let's not talk about that.
No, just
this
saying,
man doesn't like E.T.
Yeah, I didn't like E.T. I didn't like it when I saw
Super
it.
8. It just never came across to me that it was supposed to be like, oh, we're trying to do a period piece with this. It just seemed to be this particular story. They could have said it in any particular time period. It just seemed like this is when the story happens. Not so much it's a period piece, where they, period pieces, they like to, they'll definitely tie things to the music, style of dress, current events that were going on at that time. But I just never got that with Super 8.
Okay, I thought they were trying to, and you thought they were the same thing too. So
only thing I'll give it is they had one of my favorite actresses, Jessica Tuck, who was in One Life to Live. She was in the New Adventures of Lois and Clark. So that was a good point in the show.
Yes.
Can't say anything. But overall, I do recommend Stranger Things. I think you should go take a look at it for yourself. Hopefully next time we would have a more descriptive review telling you the story. But Duffer Brothers, they're supposed to be coming out with a second season.
Yes.
Why would we have a more descriptive review next time?
I think, I'm just saying, probably more
You
detail.
want to do one with spoilers? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I want to spoil the dog.
You can't do that.
Why not?
Because it's on Netflix, man. You can never spoil it.
If it happens, then we could have talked about it right now without any spoilers. But we're digressing. Do you think this story could continue for another season? And this is really the key to it, because I thought, to me, when I saw this series, I thought it was a complete 8 episodes. Boom, open and cut. But now they're saying they're going to be a second season. So
is it popular? Yes. Is it making money for them?
I was going to have a different response.
Will it come again? Yes. Look at you should be happy. Look at Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was terrible, but it's made a whole bunch of money. There's definitely going to be a second one.
Hit.
X-Men.
Oh God!
X-Men: Age of Apocalypse.
You cut him.
What is it? That wasn't.
You give him
wasn't
depth,
a great story.
and now you're cutting me. You're
but
cutting
what did
me
it do?
deep here, man.
Made all this money. It's coming back.
Why would then that's one thing we can say. They reference X-Men 134, when Jean Grey turns into Dark Phoenix.
Yes, they did.
So
yes, they did.
The only way I can tie that X-Men comic, which really hurt me, back to the show. So that's what I would recommend it. I would agree. I'm not sure how the next season will go, but I mean they know what they're doing.
For those of you who watch Zoo, they actually reference the X-Men on Zoo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which X-Men?
Logan. There's a character, his name is Logan, and he tells the truth about himself, and he's like, well, I named myself Logan after Wolverine because I want, and I said, has Wolverine become that, much of a popular figure when you say, people actually know who you're talking about?
Well, at least you didn't call him James Howlett.
I will never call him James Howlett.
At least they knew not to do that.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, I guess we're all in agreement. See the show. Come back again to Spin a Rack. Spin a Rack out.